friends! Today on Asian Food Nerd, the business behind food brands. Imagine being a dropout and then being the inventor of a top snack brand generating millions of dollars. A brand so big in pop culture that collabs with fashion brand Forever 21 and with rapper Bad Bunny are creating. A story so big that Desperate Housewives star Eva Longoria has a directorial debut telling the inspirational story behind the brand. This is the story of Richard Montanez. He said, "In life, you only need one revelation to create an evolution." According to a story in Adweek in 2019, Flamin Hot Cheetos was the top American snack. Our goal today is to provide you with an inspirational story, and stay tuned till the end when we share 3 tips to help you create your own dream. Imagine this, a janitor that scrubbed floors for a livelihood and could barely read or write English. He was a high school dropout. As the son of Mexican immigrants, he was raised in Guasti, California during the 1960s. With his mother, father, grandfather, and 10 siblings, he shared a 1-bedroom apartment. Many would blame their own misfortunes, but instead, their entire family pulled up their sleeves and made living picking grapes. But it wasn't enough to make ends meet. Richard's entire life revolved around eating leftovers and participating in the welfare line. Richard recalls that he brought a taco to school for lunch in 3rd grade. His students, who had never seen one before, couldn't stop making fun of him. Richard stashed the tacos away in his backpack. He urged his mother to make him a sandwich the next day, but she instead cooked him 2 burritos, one for him and one for his brother. And one to split with a friend by the end of the week. His mother's burritos had grown in popularity to the point where he began selling them. Richard discovered that there was something special about being different at the time, that there was a reason why we couldn't all fit into the same box. As he attempted to make friends at school, his lack of English skills became an issue. In frustration, he made a decision to quit school. In the blazing heat, he picked weeds, slaughtered chickens, and washed automobiles while working in the fields. He saw no way out of his poverty until a buddy told him about a job opening down the road in a small city in Texas for a janitor at a frito-lay plant working for $4 an hour. Frito-lay is known as the top American snack manufacturer. Little did he know that this experience would prepare him for a life-changing event. Richard was 18 at the time and could barely read or write in English. As a result, he asked his wife to assist him in filling out an application. He got hired on the spot after meeting with the hiring manager. When he told his family the news, his grandfather gave him some advice that he would never forget. Make sure the floor sparkles. Richard wanted to prove his value. The floors smelled fresh every time someone walked into the room. There's no such thing as a janitor, I realized. Richard believes that your attitude decides how far someone can go in life. And that was true for Richard in the mid-1980s, when Frito-Lay had hit a rough patch and needed to raise company morale. Roger Enrico, the company's CEO, pushed every employee to think like a business owner and to have an entrepreneurial mindset. Most of them dismissed it as a cliché, but Richard was inspired. Richard was ready to find the next big thing. He had nothing to lose since he had been scrubbing the floor for the past 10 years. Richard was proactive and had the confidence to reach out to a salesperson to learn and see. The salesman agreed to help him on his day off and drove him to a convenience store in the Latino area. Richard studied the shelves across the room while the salesperson refilled inventory. The shelves were full of Frito-Lay's products on the shelves. Being observant, Richard noticed that there were Mexican seasonings right next to these chips. He understood at that point that Frito-Lay didn't offer any spicy or hot goods. Richard realized that it was a great opportunity to create a product that would appeal to the growing Latino market. Next came the moment of discovery. Richard bought some Mexican corn from a street vendor and had an epiphany. What if I added some chili spice to a Cheeto? He felt it was a strange concept at first, but then realized that no one had considered the desired palate of the Latino market. Richard then decided it was time to start activating his entrepreneurial mindset. He was working late one night when a machine malfunctioned, resulting in a quantity of unused Cheetos. Richard thought it was a lucky break and took some home with him. He and his wife sat down and invented a spicy recipe. They gave samples to their families and friends and gained positive feedback. As a result, Richard made the decision to develop his concept into a product that others might enjoy. Richard did not know corporate protocols, and this was in his favor. He took out the company phone book and began flipping through the pages until he quickly found the CEO's phone number. When he reached out to CEO Roger Enrico's office, they were confused about which department Richard came from. After all, he was just a hard-working janitor. Richard hustled his way through by saying he worked inside the plant. To his surprise, the CEO heard about his ambition to create a spicy Cheetos. Roger liked it and told Richard that he'd be at the facility in 2 weeks. Now tasked with making a presentation, Richard now had to deliver a presentation. He told his wife he was in trouble when he returned home that day. She advised him that they would go to the library for marketing resources. They found a marketing book and improvised the rest. They filled 100 bags of Cheetos with their spicy mix and packaged them into bags with homemade designs. His wife stopped him at the door as he was gathering his belongings. His wife encouraged him and told him not to lose sight of who he is. When Richard entered the boardroom, he thought to himself, "Here I am, a janitor, giving a presentation to some of America's most highly qualified CEOs." Then, one of the executives intervened. "What percentage of the market do you believe you'll be able to capture?" Richard began to tremble as he asked him a question. He then charmed the boardroom by stretching his hand out wide. Next, the CEO stood up and announced that they would be testing out his recipe. 6 months later, Richard's Spicy Cheetos concept began testing in small Latino markets in East Los Angeles. They would sell more if the reception was positive. But Richard would have to return to scrubbing floors if it failed. Not surprisingly, there were many executives who wanted Richard to fail. After all, they were paid a lot of money to come up with these concepts. By 1992, Richard had proven them wrong, and his concept is now known as the famous Flamin Hot Cheetos, and it was being distributed across the United States. This is the story of how a janitor invented one of America's favorite snacks. Thanks for staying till the end, and here are the top 3 tips. Number 1, an idea is not a business. Richard had an idea, but he was proactive by calling the CEO and setting up a meeting. Action wins. Number 2, have a cheerleader. Richard's story reminds us that his wife played a major role in his success. She encouraged him along the way, and this added to his confidence. Number 3, know your numbers. When Richard presented to his CEO and executives, he was asked how big the target size was. Know how to communicate the total addressable market. This shows your business knowledge. Thanks for joining us today. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for our next video. Please also leave in the comment section which food brands you would like us to cover next. Asian Food Nerd, the business behind food brands.